please consider donating to our Patreon. In the Fridge is produced by dedicated volunteers, and all of our equipment is borrowed or donated. With your donations, we can grow this platform and continue supporting the community. Thank you.
All right. When do I go? Whenever I feel like it.
Actually, no. Do we have the
A thumb? I can't see. Hello? This is a song called Mercy that I wrote in an abandoned church.
Sweet. Okay, welcome back to another week of In the Fridge. We're here with Keller Knudsen, or Fleur Fauna. Is that what you're going by?
Name.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So I thought we'd kick things off with a little bit about just how you got writing, I suppose. I suppose this particular iteration of your music. Yeah.
When I think about using software instruments on computers, it goes back to me and my sister playing in our grandma's basement. She had a version of GarageBand, and so we'd sit there and write songs together and write raps.
Cool.
So I guess that was like the initial thing when I started using it. And then it was like 2015 where I got myself Logic and started playing on that and bringing together what I improvise on the piano with my musical background and putting it through electronic software to create things.
Cool.
Yeah.
So is that where everything sort of started from? It's just traditional instruments and then translating that to the digital realm, I suppose?
Yeah, I think so. And it was discovering how much you can do within that world and create things. I mean, for me, it just started off angstily, like in my bedroom,
Yeah.
writing music, and then people start to say, "Hey, I like that. That's cool." And so it starts becoming a bit more than that, and you start to open up and share with other people. So.
Yeah. Did it start quite minimal as well, like sort of starting out just experimenting with piano and like modulating that, and then?
I think because I've got such a strong choral background that I started just doing vocals. So like the backing track would be harmonizing vocals, and then I'd have a line on top of that, and then I started adding like the drums and the bass and the strings, etc. When you build up the whole mix. Yeah.
Cool. And because you also play like string instruments as well, is that right?
I played violin for a long time.
Yeah. And do you ever work that in with stuff? Have you tried sort of experimenting with and kind of digitizing some of that, or?
Yeah, I have. The violin I have isn't great, so I've played with adding like reverb and EQing it to make it sound a bit nicer. But it is definitely something I want to incorporate more, because I think there's a massive difference between software instruments and recording real instruments. Like when you actually have an instrument that brings a certain warmth that no electronic music instrument can actually do.
Yeah. It can just be sort of that new challenge of sort of translating it all between, I suppose, the two, the analog world and the digital. Yeah. Cool. So what song are you going to play for us next?
What song am I going to play for you next? I think I'm doing Vagabond, which is another song I wrote around the same time as Mercy. And I guess it's about letting go of people that might have mistreated you in the past, and moving past that, moving beyond it. Yeah.
Great. We're looking forward to hearing it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go. Jake, are you prepared to initiate? Confirmed. Okay. So we just had a little bit of a chat about your classical singing background in the last segment. Do you want to maybe go a bit more in depth with that, and maybe just a little bit about how it feeds into what you do with this particular music?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, my mum is a choir director, and so I was essentially born into a choir, so there wasn't really like a point where I started singing. It just flowed from the womb into the singing, you know. I was probably singing before I could talk. But so that was like my entire childhood was singing choir and being exposed to like the kind of harmonies and what it feels like to be joined in voice with people around you. So I think that's a massive element for me, is that I love to bring quite like layered harmonies to the music that I write, because I'm so used to that kind of homophonic sound of everyone singing together. So that's like kind of the tricky thing about converting that into a live setting, is I can record 30 of myself singing, you know, 30 tracks or whatever, and have that all playing at the same time, but I can't recreate that.
The organic sort of nature of it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I just don't have 30 of me to sing at in one point. Yeah, like I'd love at some point to have a choir that I could use in the music that I do. Yeah.
Because I think I remember hearing some of your, because have you ever done any recordings that are purely sort of a cappella, no digital instruments, it's all just modulated?
The earlier
vocals?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you find working in that sort of format?
It's very different. Like it's a lot more fluid in terms of like where you go rhythmically, where you go harmonically. You're not restricted to like this drum's doing this, because I feel like when you start formulating a song, it's like, okay, this loop lasts for this amount of time, and then I fit it into that structure. Whereas if you're just using the voice, then it's just totally free to do whatever.
Yeah. I suppose kind of down that line as well, are there any particular artists or musical influences that you really sort of call on for a lot of it?
Yeah. I'm really into my Scandinavian pop at the moment.
Everything in Iceland sounds
I
amazing.
want to go there because there's something in the water. I don't know how they create these artists. I've been like, Aurora's a massive inspiration to me, not just musically, but as a person. She's so
as a performer, she's amazing. Just the way
she's
she
so
moves
dynamic
around.
and so down to earth. Like you can tell she genuinely cares, and she sends that message out to people. So she's a big one. Sevdaliza as well. She's a massive influence. She's amazing. And then I've been listening a lot to Ivor something Cernish.
Yep.
Do you know the one?
Potentially. I've gone through the full, like, the KEXP channel on YouTube does a lot of stuff in Reykjavik.
Yeah.
And there's all of these amazing, I swear that they just come out of the woods.
Yeah,
a lot of these
they're
Icelandic
like little
bands.
nymph creatures.
Yeah,
that,
that's how I imagine
rise
Bjork.
out of the water.
Yeah, like Bjork just climbed out of.
Yeah, she's another one.
Something,
Yeah.
And I suppose even with like classical music and classical singers, are there any performers from that sort of world that really influence you as well?
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a purely technical standpoint, there are definitely singers like Lucia Pop and Barbara Bonney that I really aspire to. But I'm trying to move away a bit from that, because I find the rigidity of the opera world can be quite restricting in terms of how you make music and how you use your voice. It's very purist, and like, this is the technique and this is how you learn the technique, and that's the only right way to use your voice. So I'm starting to move away from that and like figure out how do I find my own voice and the best way for me to use that and express myself in the way that I need to. This is Fantasy, and then I'm going to do Hold Me to finish.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for coming in, Kella. That was really, really awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's fine. So what are your plans for the future from here, as far as your music goes?
Yeah, definitely to put more energy into it. I'm looking to, this is a step towards performing live and getting used to that. So I'm excited about doing that. Currently, I'm working on an EP.
Oh, great.
Which I hope that I'll be able to get out by the end of the year. And then I intend to do a new album next year.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, and so you're moving down to Dunedin,
Yes.
is that right? Yep. And is there plans at the moment to do like a lot of recording or gigging down there? Or?
Yeah, well, that's the intention. My partner and I are hopefully going to set up a home studio that we can record in down there. Yeah. So if anyone wants to come and record with us.
Great. Yeah. So, I guess, will there be plans to maybe piece together a stage band, or are you going to keep trying to see what you can do solo?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to play with people. I love playing with other musicians. So it just depends who's got time and who's around,
But it's great to know that you can just sort of stand alone with your stuff and it be
Yeah, well, that's the thing
is,
is, I know I can rely on myself and kick myself up, but if I, don't make it to places or whatever. So that's kind of, it's good to be able to perform on my own, but also there's so much that other musicians will bring to music when you perform it live with them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to seeing what else you come out with in the future. I suppose, just as a final note, thought we'd make reference to some of the artwork that's in the room at the moment, which a lot of it is yours. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about, I suppose, what inspires some of the pieces, or maybe if there's even some sort of interconnectedness to what you do musically?
Yeah, I think so. Angst is probably the connection. My approach to art is really like, if I feel like there's something inside of me and it needs to come out, it comes out, and that'll be through painting or it will be through music. It's just whatever medium feels like most appropriate to express what I'm feeling. So that's really what it is. Like, my painting is all about kind of expressing the human condition and emotions that we feel. So it's mainly what drives it. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks again for coming in. It's been a really cool session.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and thanks to the film crew and to Jake on sound and
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. That is us. Is that another thing I always say a lot? That is us? Oh. Well, that's us then.